Hi. Hello.
Hello. All right. I hate saying the word that I'm an animator because I think a lot of animators would probably be offended that I'd say that as well. And also, I do lots of different things. But then I always think you sound like a twat if you say that you're an artist. I guess I'm a filmmaker. I've been doing it for a long time, 12 years or something. You can probably tell my accent from the UK, born and bred, from a very tiny town called Malvern. But yeah, I've just been making short films, really. Not really making any money from doing it. Now I teach at Kingston University part-time and on the illustration animation course there. So it's nice to have some regular money. It's quite funny teaching there because they kind of just let me do what I wanted to do. So obviously you do art at high school, but I had no interest in doing it. And then when I went to college, I actually did business studies in IT, but I failed in both. It was like a bit of a weird time. I was kind of going off the tracks a bit. My parents were very concerned, and like my mum said about me doing this art course in Malvern for more retired people and elderly people. But you did get a qualification at the end, which meant I could go to uni. I was by far the youngest person there. And that was the first time I did any art, really, thinking about it. And it was through that then I got introduced to people like Jean-Michel Basquiat and like Jean Dubuffet. Made me realise that the kind of drawings I like to make and the work I like to make. I hate the terms like good drawing and bad drawing. Yeah. Like it shouldn't really exist. Well, I studied animation at Newport. They really emphasise about finding your own voice in animation and you becoming a filmmaker, not an animator. It's kind of more of a director's course at the time because it's part of a film school. But it was really magic. Like, it sounds corny, but it is magic, like seeing your drawings move. It was a very traditional way of looking at animation. Like, there's a very much the Richard Williams book. And I found it really tough when I first started. It was like, didn't really know where I fitted in with it all. My teachers were really great. So showing me stuff like Jonathan Hodgson with his film Nightclub, and Bruce Bickford was a really massive influence. You know, just kind of more loose animations. I think they were encouraged to see that I was just putting my own stamp even on these very technical exercises they were teaching us. Like I did a walk cycle, but it was kind of like not particularly perfect, but the movement still kind of worked. I was never going to be that good technically. So yeah, they were really encouraging, and without their encouragement, I don't think I would have gone down making what I've made. I made a grad film called Custard, and that got me to do a master's at Royal College of Art. I was getting really excited about what I was making, and I felt like I'd only just really started on this kind of animation journey. That's why I really learned how to do things. I loved the animation tutors there. They were great, but I got a lot more out of maybe some of the visiting tutors that came in. There was a really amazing teacher called Martin Morris. I went to these drawing classes and it just taught me to how I can actually move the drawings a lot looser. Yeah, that completely changed how I worked. I don't think the tutors really understood really what I was up to with the grad film, which was a film called
Ugo Dobby Gadongo.
You know, it's like with all these education systems, they have a way how they think a film should be made. So you have to do animatic, and then you have to do storyboard, blah, 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 blah. But it doesn't work like that for everybody. It doesn't work for every type of film. And the school was really good. I met so many amazing people that I'm still friends with now. Yeah, so that was the two schools I went to.
Fuck. Shit. God damn. Oh, shit. Fuck. Shit.
No, so that film was made whilst I was in Canada. I'm not sure if you've ever been to Montreal. There's loads of sex cinemas there. And opposite my studio, there was a sex cinema. So there's this bar that I used to go to, but it was kind of like attached to the bar down a basement. You used to see just so many guys come in like, you know, sunglasses, hood up, like just running down there. I just thought it was just quite weird. Like there's so much shame in that. It's not my thing, but I don't see why you should really hide. If you're going to do that, just do it. I spoke to like a bunch of people in Montreal at different parties about it, and they were very kind of aggressive about it, like quite homophobic. I always had like the thought like, well, if I'm old and lonely and horny, I'd probably go to something like that. Like, why not? Like, it's a bit of excitement. I don't see why it's such a horrendous thing. So,
Okay.
made that film. The soundtrack for that film, though, was quite fun to do. I recorded myself ejaculating and then like me moaning, but I put it all on the film and it didn't really work. I decided to just download a load of porn films that it's just compilations of men coming. So it's really this really weird thing. You're just watching loads of porn, but in a moment, like, oh, that's a really good sound. I'm going to take that out. And it's really odd watching porn in that way. But that's the only film I've done recently where it wasn't, you know, just me. I think the sound is so important. I try and just do it all myself now. I try and just play around with a bunch of stuff and see what works. And also just a lot of stuff with my voice I like doing. But no, I think that adds to the film, like that kind of, you do it yourself. What I tend to do is have a very basic idea that will be kind of the bean of what the whole film's going to be. I did a film called Egg Touching.
I want to touch it.
No, I want to touch it. No, I want to touch it.
All I had in my head was, I'm going to Photoshop my face on an egg. I'm going to animate these 4 faces, just their mouths opening back and forward. I wasn't sure what they were going to be doing. So there wasn't really any storyboarding or animatics or anything. I'd say now I don't do animatics. I wouldn't say storyboard either. Like, it's mostly writing down notes. For example, I'm doing this film at the moment where it's actually quite technically quite difficult. There's a lot of rotating. I had to plan it a little bit, how that's gonna look. But you see these characters like this going on.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's about the amount of storyboarding I do. That doesn't say it's like that's the right way to do things. The unpredictability and the energy goes when I've done that in the past. Oil pastel is really good because it forces you not to detail anything, and there's a really nice texture when you scan it in. And you know, I paint it not just because of the look of it, but it saves your wrist from repetitive strain. Basically, any pencils that I use, it's always just really thick and soft, so it makes a really strong line. The main influences, you know, kind of a weird mixture of stuff, I guess. The Holy Grail, when I remember watching that.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Yeah, quite a lot of skate culture stuff, like Mark Gonzalez. Roger Hilton was another big influence on my painting. Also, Andy Kaufman, the comedian, was really big for me. Daniel Johnston, the musician. You know, these kind of people that, you know, they just did their thing.
How do you feel about being selected in the short film competition at the Annecy festival?
Yeah, that's a weird one. Of all the films I've done, I don't think that would get it. I went as a student to Annecy twice. I remember being there thinking it'd be pretty amazing to get into this festival. And I enter it every year because it's free to enter. you know, I can understand why selection committees wouldn't select my film. There must be someone on that selection this year that's really pushed it through. It was pretty surprising after years of rejections.
Yeah.
Cool,
Bye.
man.
Thank
All
you.
right. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Ciao.
C'est fini les amis. Au revoir.